Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Project Network. In this episode, we will be speaking with the CEO from Kaddex. This conversation was recorded on July 22nd, 2022, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of KPN directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody. Hopefully everyone's having a good day today. Today's going to be an amazing AMA. We have the CEO from Kaddex here, one of the largest entities right now in the Kadena ecosystem. So I'm very excited to talk to them. So we also have my little co-host here, Manatee Crypto, which many of you guys know. So we're very excited to get this AMA rolling. So welcome everybody, welcome. I don't know if you want to give it maybe a few more minutes and we'll let some more people roll in before we get rolling here. But yeah, welcome everybody. Should be a very good talk today.
Yep, sure.
For those of you that don't already follow us on our social medias, make sure you check out our Twitter page as well as our Discord. There is also links to our SoundCloud. We have lots of different platforms, Telegram, lots of things for you guys to keep everything updated. And also make sure to check out our website. It is KadenaEcosystem.com. There you can pretty much find links to all the projects that are currently either building, in development, or are fully live on the Kadena network. So make sure you guys go and check that out. And also if you want to add a project to it, or if you have an event that you're doing recently, feel free to use the options on our websites for requesting a calendar event or adding a project. And we would love to have you to be part of our ecosystem. So we're just going to give it another minute or two here as more people roll in, and then we'll get this thing started. Very excited to talk to Nicolas today from Kaddex. It should be an excellent conversation. While we wait for everyone to roll in, we also have a few giveaways going on right now, so make sure to check our Twitter page. There should be one link right at the very top of our page for the Kadena hashing giveaway that we currently have. And if you roll through our Twitter page, there is also one going on right now with crypto merch. They're giving away some whitelists, and they also have an AMA coming up on the 29th with us. So to celebrate that, they were nice enough to offer us some whitelist spots. So make sure you guys go and scroll through our Twitter feed, scroll through our Twitter feed, and make sure you guys get your entries in for all of those, so you can win some free spots and some free whitelists. All right, well, it looks like we have a good group of listeners here today. So welcome everybody to our AMA today. We are speaking with the CEO of Kaddex, Nicolas. Now, this should be a very exciting AMA because they have been pumping out a lot of new little things, a wallet, lots of new features to their website. So just like to say welcome to Nicolas, and as well to Manatee Crypto as my co-host. So welcome, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, so let's get started first. For maybe there might be one or two people listening right now that aren't exactly sure what exactly Kaddex is. So maybe, Nicolas, if you want to just give us, like I tell people, the 30-second elevator pitch, quick little run over of what Kaddex is all about, and just let everyone know.
Yeah, so hi, everybody. My name is Nicolas Ramsrud. I am the CEO of Kaddex, where we are building the next generation of scalable and simple DeFi on the Kadena blockchain. And a little bit about what Kaddex is. We started some time ago now looking to build DeFi products, namely a DEX on Kadena. And we quickly came to understand that this is a problem of both protocol and user interface. And so we spent some time digging into the problem and decided to start building a wallet as well for the ecosystem. So at this time, we've got a DEX that we are very, very nearing launch timeline on that should be going live here very shortly, and as well as XWallet, which is our wallet that aims to simplify user experience for not just the Kadena ecosystem, but for DeFi in general, really aiming at future adoption. So that's a little bit about what we're doing. And I mean, you've probably seen, if you follow us, a lot of stuff going on right now. And basically everything we've been working on is coming up to a peak. So we're seeing a lot of stuff happening, a lot of excitement, and these next few weeks into months are going to be big for not only us, but the whole Kadena ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, you guys have been like nonstop working. I know the audit results came back. That's free for anyone to see, by the way, final documents. I'll send out a tweet later after this AMA if you guys want to look at that. Then obviously you guys have the Devnet launch. I'm excited to talk more about that and the plan going forward with that until launch. So yeah.
For sure. It's very exciting. You guys have just been absolutely killing it lately, pumping out lots of stuff. The wallet especially is definitely something that a lot of people have been looking forward to, especially the mobile version, because you've had the extension for a while now, which I'm sure a lot of people are also using. But I know that a lot of crypto users, especially myself included, prefer a mobile wallet, just, like having all your wallets kind of on one device. So let's dig a little bit deeper into that. I see that there's been some bounties up for bug hunting and things to get the community more involved with helping you guys better the wallet. So if you want to just give us a quick little run on the wallet, that'd be great.
Yeah. So for those of you that are aware or knowledgeable of Kadena and the ecosystem, the infrastructure itself, while it provides incredible benefits for developers that are looking to get proof of work level security while having a scalable infrastructure to build your application, there's some problems it brings in kind of the user interface and user experience level, where users have to navigate through chains. And this is something that, we're looking to solve, namely through the XWallet interface, where you have applications that are now scalable and proof of work secure, but the user doesn't have to worry about understanding the complexities of it all. So XWallet is starting to get down this path of where, we start to simplify down the user experience on Kadena. And I think we've already achieved that in massive part through the extension wallet, which gives people a MetaMask-like experience when operating on dApps in the Kadena ecosystem. But I think we all understand that mobile applications is kind of like the future of crypto users. Everybody's got their smartphones around them 24/7, and that's going to be the place where most people do their crypto activity. And so that's when we decided to launch mobile application wallets that are now out on Android and iOS. And we've been quickly iterating on all the feedback and adding new features all along the way. And I think we're on our 8th version so far in the last couple of weeks. And so with that comes a new user interface that is way more polished than the web extension. And the web extension will get to that point here shortly. But as we continue to go down this path of developing XWallet, we'll see more features being added. So it really will be the wallet that everybody needs, has all the features that everybody would ever want, including NFT support, including in-wallet swaps through the DEX, including all sorts of different things. And so yes, we've launched the mobile apps, but it certainly has not been a slowdown for us in terms of development, because we're just churning out new features almost daily for it. So that's a little bit about what we've been doing with XWallet.
Awesome. Yeah, it's quite the feat to, I would imagine, to build something like that, especially with Kadena, with the multi-chains and everything. I'm sure getting that, like I've always said too, when it comes to adoption for crypto, it's going to be the apps that are very turnkey, so that the user doesn't have to realize all of the little tiny steps that are going on in the background. They pretty much just need to know, like, send, receive, the basic wallet setup. So I'm sure, like, making making something built for Kadena will definitely have its challenges that way. Now, as far as the bugs, and you guys have just been turning out new updates and just cleaning out bugs as soon as you find them, which have been very helpful, I'm sure, to a lot of users. Have you had much in ways of the bounty redemptions? I've seen that you've put up some bounties and stuff. Have you had much community feedback from that?
Yeah, the bounty program has been overall successful over these past couple of weeks. When we launched this bounty program, we were really looking to partner with a big name in security, which is why we went with ImmuneFi, and put bounty amounts on there for the express purpose of getting hackers, basically developers outside of this ecosystem, to want to get familiar with the code to see if they could earn some money. And that meant we put $150,000 bounties for any sort of critical bug that could be found, and then those descended all the way down the list to high, medium, and lows. So we've had a lot of activity through that, and we're actually processing 2 medium bounties right now that were problems that were found on the platform. So it's been successful and helping us get across the line towards something that we feel is safe and secure for launch. And this program actually will be part of our ongoing security efforts as we transition into mainnet. It will leave it open, obviously. And then as we add more features, it just will get more rich of a program. As we add more protocols, it'll get more rich. And so it's going to be part of blowing open this ecosystem, getting people into it, and making sure that everything we do is safe and secure.
Excellent. Yes, as far as wallet's concerned, security is definitely the number one thing that everyone should consider. Making sure that there's not going to be any way of a phrase or private key to be leaked or anything like that, and just having those extra eyes. Even a lot of community members will see little things in the app, and if they're very technical wise, can probably help you find, like you've had the medium ones come through so far. So hopefully no one finds any high risk things, because that's always can be kind of crippling kind of for a wallet if it is kind of a big breach. But at the same time, it is always a building process. So a little bit more about the Devnet that you've released. Let's get a little bit into that if you want to go over some information for that, and how people can use it, and what's being used for, and just a little bit more information on that.
Yeah, so we released our Devnet, which is basically just like a Kadena mainnet that we're running through our own private servers. So it's basically a clone of the Kadena network. That way that we can control all sorts of different variables in it to make things faster. Instead of having like the staking mechanism that takes 6 months to accrue interest on, we can make it happen very quickly, as well as allowing us to mint tokens and create very efficient faucets for testing. So we launched that and launched the entirety of our platform on Devnet. And that means not only the DEX as well as a staking module, but also the DAO protocol. So it really is basically the live version of everything we've done up to this point, including the website. And so this Devnet was kind of like a soft launch for us in a lot of different ways, but allows users to go in there with XWallet, of course, and test around, play around with how everything works. It has been a booming success. We were seeing daily users in the thousands. It's trickled down, obviously, but we're still seeing constant volume of activity going through there, people testing, playing around with it, accruing voting power and staking, trading all day long. So lots of great activity going on there. And like I said earlier, this Devnet will go on into the future as we transition into mainnet, and we keep this bug bounty thing rolling.
Yeah. I know there's been a lot of positive reception with the Devnet so far. You talked about how it's kind of a soft launch. I totally see that as well, because obviously, and I like that you guys are doing it on Devnet rather than, just testnet, and then you guys have to, because I know there's been some issues with testnet speeds as well. with on Kadena, because I think there's not as many nodes and such. But yeah, I'm glad to see you guys are doing it through your own variability, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. So if you don't mind kind of giving us like a bit of a roadmap of where the DevNet is going in the future.
Yeah, so the DevNet will be kind of our proving ground where we test out new ideas. You know, a lot of this stuff, interestingly, we've ended up making a very complex protocol and series of smart contracts that all work together to make sure everything works. Like, you know, these things that we've done to make DeFi simpler, to make a DEX simpler around like single-sided liquidity, where you just, instead of having to provide 50-50 of both sides of the pair, you can just provide one side, and the smart contract automatically swaps for the other side and then inserts liquidity. Multi-hop swaps, where you don't have to go to a specific AMM pair to trade. You just select which token you want to give and which token you want to receive, and then the protocol routes it through multiple smart contracts. All of that is complexity that is on the protocol side, but not to the user. So that allows us to give a very simple user experience. All of that are things that we need to test deeply before we know that they are robust enough to go production live. And so these sorts of things are not the end result of what we're trying to do. So this first version, V1 of our DEX platform, is really just kind of like the single chain proof of concept of what our multi-chain DEX will be in the future. And when we do multi-chain, obviously, once you start to do that, going across multiple chains, things get a little bit more complicated, especially if you want to make sure that the user experience isn't impacted, which would mean that then the smart contracts and protocol would have to be able to handle cross-chain activity as well. So this DevNet is going to be an environment where we can test out these ideas and things we're building without having to rely, like you said, on a testnet being up and operating, or just going straight to mainnet. And this environment's been one that we've been working in, you know, for the past, 8 months or so, testing out all the things we've been developing. So it's really now going to be kind of our public testing grounds that everybody can see what's going on.
Absolutely. And I know you guys have been actively developing, and you said with the variability of the DevNet, it gives you guys a lot of flexibility to test out new features, fix old features. So I think right now maybe we should kind of go into some of the audit findings, and I just want to get your guys' input on how you guys are dealing with some of the problems that NCC found. So first one would be the critical error, which was with a liquidity issue where you could take out more liquidity than you put in. I think this was back in July 14th. I think you guys got the results, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind just kind of giving us an input as to how developers are working on this?
Yeah. So the work with NCC was really fantastic. I deeply enjoyed it. They're very collaborative in how it goes. I've done security audits in the past, and it's very often like you just chuck code across the fence, and then they, a couple of months later, throw a report over the other side. This was not like this. We had a Slack channel together where daily they engaged our developers, asked them questions, went back and forth. So it was very collaborative. So all of those things that they had found, as they found them, we were able to go and fix them. So everything in that document has been addressed and fixed, and we, talked to them about the fix that we were proposing, and they bought off on all the fixes that we did. So that critical one specifically was a missing capability at the liquidity or the wrapper level, where it didn't check to make sure that you had the permissions able to take certain actions. So it was a really quick one-line fix and just a miss on our part. But then all the other findings were relatively minimal, and all things that have been fixed up to this point.
That's really great to hear. I'm glad NCC is doing that rather than taking some other auditing routes where, yeah, like you said, they just throw it over the brick wall to you, and then you got to do re-audits over and over again. It's not time efficient at all. So, yeah, I'm really glad to hear that it was a collaborative effort, and I'm glad that Devnet is like ready. I'm glad it's like soft launch in a way that it's more of in action and practical bug testing rather than testing fixes for the audit, which is good.
Yeah, it's great to have a company when you are dealing with audits like that that's more hands-on, because I could not imagine just kind of like, here's my code and then just hope for the best. But when it comes to dealing with things like this, you want things that are like time consistent and whatever can be the quickest turnaround for you. And to hear that you guys were able to pretty much fix these errors as they were found is absolutely amazing, because it just makes it so much easier for you guys to keep on board and keep things moving forward and pushing towards a goal. So awesome. Let's before we move away from the wallet and stuff and the DevNet, is there anything else that you'd like to ask Adam or bring up, Nicholas?
Nope, nothing from my side.
Nope, me neither.
All right, so let's move on to a couple of the other things that you guys have been talking about recently, like the vaulting. So maybe Nicholas, if you want to give us a short little rundown on what that all involves and what users can expect out of that.
Yeah, so the vaulting program is specifically built for our private sale participants, those that invested in Kaddex way long ago when we were just an idea. And so this program allows those users to vault, which it's kind of akin to the bonding program that Kadena ran for their chain relay, but where users can lock up their KDX in specific amounts of time. And per that amount of time, it's basically like staking, where you have a set amount of rewards distributed in KDA and KDX in different percentages. And so it's really a great program to get those users involved in getting additional rewards for the support they gave us. Because I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for what they did, we wouldn't be here, right? So we wanted to make sure that they had an ability to find, early on incentives for helping slow down the circulating supply of the KDX token, as well as get involved in the DAO and become part of the community.
Awesome. Now, when it comes to people depositing their KDA and their KDX, and you said there's going to be certain pretty much lockup periods, will there be, say, fees or penalties if they want to withdraw before those periods, or will they be locked in and you won't be able to move them until the time's up?
That's correct. Yeah, they're hard locked. So this is going to be the contract, to get a bit technical. This is going to be the contract by which distribution happens of the KDX tokens. So when they go through this, because the KDX hasn't been minted yet, so the program will open up on the 25th. At that time, any of those users can go in and choose what program they want to be a part of, even a claim now option. And I highly recommend, even if you aren't going to be participating in this, that you go through the claim now, because it allows you to put in a K account, whereas the private sell was pre-K account times and is, you're subject to squatting on that. So that allows you to put in a new K account for which your KDX will be distributed to. And what it does basically is it's basically a staking contract. So once that program closes, that contract will be populated with all the KDX, and then the protocol just takes over. And then the users can then withdraw their unlocked amount, whether it's claim now or they select one of the timelines and therefore programs. And when they go to withdraw and unlock their amount of vault, they can just pull out the stuff that's unlocked. So, yeah. That's going to be how it works. And then in the end, even if those users don't go through and claim now, and they just decide to not participate in the whole program, the KDX will be distributed once this protocol closes, once the vaulting program closes, and the the DEX launches, they will be their KDX will be distributed to their original addresses that they did the private sale with on chain 0, just to make sure that everybody gets their KDX.
So the vaulting will only be up until the launch of the DEX, and then the vaulting will disappear and be no more.
Yes, it's up till the 30th. That's correct, of July.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty good for all the people that have supported you from the start, and a good way to kind of give a little bit back to them, which is pretty awesome, because without the people from the very start supporting you, it probably wouldn't be where you are right now. Because as we've learned here at KPN, community is extremely important in a project, be it a little project or a big project, that once you have community behind you and pushing you, they're pretty much the sky is the limit.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree with you, Chris. Especially like I see a lot of similarities in like started. Obviously, Kaddex, you guys had a lot of support in the beginning. You guys had to go through a lot of rough roads, especially as you guys had to change management, and you had to kind of maneuver around a lot of things, because obviously you were the first project really building on Kadena, and as a KPN, obviously, like Chris said, building community is super important. And I'm glad, when I started this in November, I was not expecting it to go anywhere near where it is right now. And even you guys were basically the ones that kicked off with KPN. You guys at Kaddex, you guys were the first ones that really introduced the Kadena community to KPN with our first AMA. I remember that with Grant. So yeah, I totally agree with you. Rewarding community members is the way to go, and that's how KPN is doing it with our giveaways and our website, and we're going to continue to actively develop.
Well said. So moving to talk a little bit more about the DEX, I see you guys have been adding a few more coins that are going to be available once the DEX goes live, and which that are also trading pairs live on through other systems. If you want to maybe go through some of the big news items that you've added recently, that'd be great.
Yeah, we're in this sprint to launch now. We're at this point where we're rapid firing announcements left and right, because it, like I've said, it was like all this work and all this effort that we've done over the past 6 to 8 months is coming to a head, and it's just everything that we've done that we're now getting ready to be able to share. And so and we're not the only ones in this ecosystem that are kind of getting to this point. It's kind of interesting. We're starting to see the ecosystem come alive, and with Lago launching their bridge, bringing USDC, wrapped USDC into the network, that just is going to strengthen the whole DeFi ecosystem even further. So, one of the things that we did recently, we launched the mock miners of Kadena pair. We've been working with them for a while now, talking about GameFi and talking about where DeFi and GameFi kind of intersect, which is a tremendously interesting kind of topic. Something that, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in my brain, but when I hear Dor talk about it, I'm convinced at the future that it has in making massive impact in the whole gaming sector. So I'm excited to see what they're doing, and the things that they're going to do with Kaddex in the future. And then we also launched the KWUSDC pair, which is the Lago Kadena wrapped USDC. The first time that we've had a wrapped asset from Ethereum be brought into the network, open to the public. So really, really exciting. And I like to be in this position where, we're getting ready to launch, but also is this whole ecosystem. It seems like we're all coming alive and everybody's developing at a breakneck pace. And this is the start of a wild future for this ecosystem.
Absolutely. And I know you talked about like miners of Kadena and how GameFi and DeFi are going to intersect in the future. I think that what GameFi is going to do is offer like the crypto advantage to a whole other user base. And when it connects to DeFi on the back end of the spectrum, I think that's really when we're going to start to see a lot of volume in crypto, and especially on Kadena with no gas fees. And obviously you guys are audited. Miners of Kadena are going to do audits too. So yeah, I think it's going to be a very smooth experience for a lot of newcomers, and Kadena is going to benefit from it in a lot of ways. So kind of going back to Kadena wrapped USDC, when do you think we're going to see the first pairs of like KDX/USDC or even like MOC/USDC? Do you think we're going to see that when Kaddex launches on mainnet?
So one of the things that we strategically did in designing this DEX is to have everything paired against KDA. So getting kind of fancy with something like Uniswap or something EVM based, where you have a single chain that's run with a gas model, it doesn't allow you to get very complex when you're doing like multi-hop transactions, right? Multi-step transactions, because it costs a lot of gas to the user. Which, a single transaction right now is probably, I don't know how much, I haven't checked in a little bit, but it's probably a single swap's got to be at least $25 in gas, right? So that it's just not beneficial. But one of the things that we do is to pair everything against KDA and then allow the user to select the token they want to give and the token they want to receive. And then the protocol will do multiple hops so that it just really reduces the complexity to the user, so that they don't have to like, okay, so I've got this token and I want to get this token. So I need to trade on this pair first, then I need to go trade on this pair second. And it helps us consolidate liquidity so that you just end up having more efficient pairs with less slippage. So everything is going to be paired against KDA, but one of the things we'll be launching very short after the launch of V1 is going to be this multi-hop swap, where you'll just be able to, on the front end, select, like, let's say you want to trade KDX to KW USDC. You'll just be able to put in KDX and get out USDC, and it'll just work flawlessly. And we've already tested this out. It works really well. There's just, the amount of features we were running for the launch platform got a little high. So we decided to pull back on a couple of items, but that'll be very soon after we launch.
Yeah, I understand that model totally, especially, you said on Ethereum and stuff like that, and EVMs. Obviously, you can't do those complex multi-hops, but with something like Kadena, very low gas fees and the multi-chain aspect of it, I think pricing everything in KDA, offering it the most liquidity on the network, will result in less slippage. And do you see that kind of counteracting KDA's slower settlement times? Do you see that like counteracting the slippage issue with lower settlement times?
Yeah, I think that, one of the things that Kadena at its core really delivers is that the scalability problem, which is kind of a mixture of not only how fast the block time is, but also the ability to continually scale your application so you're never filling up blocks. So in the short term, filling up blocks is not going to be a worry for Kaddex. And so users won't really ever be waiting very long to see their transactions succeed. So, and then especially in the future, once we start to look at multi-chain application, where pairs are across multiple chains, and you start to have more complex transactions that move from one chain to another, the important part will be building them in such a way that they are atomic, which means that they're guaranteed to settle, and that way it provides the same kind of user experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds like you guys have some pretty good plans on where you want to take your DEX and what you want to do to make things as simple for users as possible, because like I always say, making things as simple for people is what you want. And right now, as it turns out for Kadena, I myself am not a fan of using complex exchanges like KuCoin and Bittrex with sell and buy orders and all that stuff. I'm much more a turnkey type person that just wants to buy my coins, get them into my wallet, wallet, or if I want to swap from one coin to another, I don't want to go through all these different, sell and buy orders. I just want to go, I want to sell this coin and get this coin. And to hear that you guys are already thinking about that in the back end to make that as simple for users as possible is great, which will add so much great things for the community and another avenue for people to be able to get their KDA and swap it and all that stuff. So very exciting to hear what you guys have already been planning on implementing in the background. So very exciting.
Yeah, I truly believe that the future of DeFi is in simplicity, and the future of adoption is in simplicity. I mean, if I think about what I would love to achieve, it would be financial tools that are completely open and accessible to all, that I can get, my parents to use, and that leap between somebody that is crypto savvy and between somebody that's crypto savvy and somebody that, just recently truly understood how to use an iPhone, is exactly where I want to be. And so how do you do that? That is a massive problem. And like I said earlier, one that revolves around creating simple protocols like a DEX. How do you make that simpler to use? And then simple tools that are user facing tools like a wallet. And how do you make that just really, really simple? And those people don't need to know about gas. They don't need to know about slippage. All they really want to do is they want to turn this coin into that coin. And I don't care how it happens, just please do it for me. And that's what I think we need to get to.
Yeah, pretty much we need to emulate the legacy system of turnkey that they've built, but they've had 50, 60 years to build this system, but make it so that it's decentralized and so that everyone can use it. It's open to anybody. You don't have to, and also with having your mobile wallet and hopefully being able to go through that to access your DEX. There's lots of people in this world that can't afford a computer or a laptop or something to even have a browser extension wallet. But the majority of the world has Android cell phones, which is like I said, I think it's about 80 to 85% of the world is Android phones. iPhones, sorry everyone who's on iPhones right now, but you're not, the center of the universe as much as you may think you are. As long as everyone has a phone and is able to access these systems, it brings a whole new banking system for people. People have to realize that that's one of the things that crypto is meant to do, is to free the shackles of the legacy money system we have now and open that up to the world, so that people who before couldn't hold money in a bank now have a way to control funds and something that's in all of their control. So seeing more companies building tools for that is great. And that is the way that we're going to move crypto adoption forward, and making it as easy as possible, as you said, at the same time. The people don't need to know all the stuff that's going on in the background. They just need to come in, do what they need to do, and get their coins. So very awesome to hear that you guys are moving forward like that. So that was pretty much everything I had to cover. So I don't know if Adam has any more questions, or if Nicolas, if you have any alpha that you maybe want to drop on the community that maybe you haven't shared anywhere else. I'm sure everyone would love to hear something crazy like that. Yeah.
I'll just add on to what you were saying, Chris. I kind of like the iPhone kind of analogy there, with it's more of a closed ecosystem, and now Apple, even though they're top dogs, now they're facing supply chain issues and whatnot, and iOS it's not as actively developed as Android, and it's not future proofed in the same way that Android will be, as more forks and active branches come out from Android. I agree with you on the future of tech, and I think Kaddex, you guys are future-proofing yourself in the same way that a lot of other exciting phone startups are doing, with challenging Apple and stuff like that. And I don't want to keep this crypto related. I'm kind of going off on a tangent right now. I'm sorry about that, but you guys are definitely future-proofing yourself with kind of making it a more open space than closed.
Yeah, I think even I think this idea of mobile is going to be the wave of the future is being realized by many. I think even whether you think Solana is on top of it or not, their announcement for building a Solana phone shows at a high level where the mind of the greatest kind of developers of the space are going, right? These people did their research. There's like 6+ billion smartphones on this planet. How do you get people to adopt crypto? It's through the phone. It is absolutely through the phone. And so if your window into crypto banking 3.0 is through a phone app that you have access to everything that you ever need, it gives you permissionless banking tools just that you could access through your banking app. That's going to be the wave of the future. And so that's kind of been our biggest eye-opening experience through all this when we started to ask the questions of what does it mean to make simple DeFi? Well, what is DeFi? And then you start to think about, okay, DeFi is about permissionless tools. Well, how do we get those things adopted? Well, it's through simplicity. And so all of this, meditating on these questions that are not easy ones to solve, because crypto's been around now for, gosh, how many years? 12, 13 years. We haven't solved this problem yet. I don't know if we will anytime soon, but I think that we've got a good handle on how to do it. And it really starts with what we've done with the DEX in creating scalable and simple DeFi, what we're doing with XWallet, which is really about deeply integrating DeFi tools into an application that makes it even simpler so that people can use it and deeply understand it, and then just really blowing up the tool suite that's available to you. I think just like any other banking app, you have savings, loans, the ability to trade from one asset to another, and all of that being available through your application. So there's a lot of things going on right now. You're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. The launch of the DEX is just like a stepping stone. We're already working on things well beyond V1 of this DEX, even other things that I'm very excited to talk about, but we haven't even really begun talking about it yet outside of our walls. So there's so much more coming. I am just so excited about launching and the start of a new DeFi ecosystem in Kadena.
One more thing, too, about the fact that the future is moving towards a mobile system, like you said, where you have your own app, where it's pretty much your banking app in your own phone. But the most important thing about that is it's going to be something that your money is there in your control and nobody else's, which is something that a lot of people don't quite understand, when it comes to this space. Is that, for a perfect example of that, go ask the people in China right now who can't get their money out of their bank accounts how important it is to have full control over your funds. Those kind of things are going to happen more and more around the world as this financial system that we're seeing implodes itself around us. And it is coming. I'm not one of those people that's, building a bomb shelter and filling it full of froze-dried food and stuff like that. But you can see kind of the writings on the wall. A fiat system, by definition, is meant to self-implode. So having something like crypto that you can move into to hedge against that is strictly important, and to also have it simple enough that people aren't confused and scared by it. I know a lot of people, like, they hear Bitcoin and they just can't wrap their head around it. It's just this crazy internet money, but it's so much more than that. It's not just about money. It's about freedom. It's about having full control for yourself and security for yourself. So it's knowing that you guys are bringing that for Kadena, and it's just going to make the ecosystem and the community so much stronger and better because of it. So I don't know if anyone else would like to step up and have any questions that they'd like to ask. We're more than welcome to open it up for a few questions here. Feel free to send me an invite to speak. I'll join you right up and if anyone has anything that they'd like to ask now that we have Nicolas here. So I know that one of the things that I always look forward to when it comes to having these talks with all these different communities and projects is the way that these projects are coming together to help each other. Do you have any, I know you spoke about miners of Kadena and things like that, but have you had any other interactions with any other of the Kadena community members, be it for, help figuring out smart contract things or anything of that kind?
Yeah, actually, it's like one big family of developers. I really love it. So this has been something that we've done since day one, really, because we're all developing on something new, right? We didn't start these jobs knowing Pact, and I certainly couldn't find developers that knew Pact. So everything we do, we're helping each other. And I see Giuseppe, one of my lead devs, on listening to this right now, but he's leading up a group where he's working on NFT standards with some of the NFT projects in this ecosystem to make sure that one, what the developers are doing is good and standard best practices for creating NFTs. But then two, that gives us kind of a shoe in for understanding how to integrate NFTs into XWallet. Right. And then we also, Gustavo, my lead smart contract developer, he's continually helping other projects as they work on either XWallet or integrating into the DEX. We had that situation where there was a vulnerability in the Kadena swap code that our team discovered, and that Kadena swap code was deployed across multiple DEXs in the ecosystem. And Gustavo and Kate, another one of our developers, went and led this initiative to help, seize all of pause all of the DEX smart contracts in the ecosystem to make sure funds are safe, and then helped each one of them develop a patch for their contracts. So it's one of the things that I love most about what we're doing is it's not such a fractured ecosystem of developers like Ethereum would be, where there's just so many of them and everybody's kind of doing it in private. This is much more of like a family-like setting where we all realize that the power in developing is in doing it and sharing knowledge together. And we've had great success that way.
Yeah, it is one large community. I've found that everyone's very close-knit and very willing to help each other. And being that, like you said, Kadena is still very early, everything is still maturing, and it needs more people developing and helping each other and building development tools, building the development documentation, all that kind of stuff and the more that people come together and help each other with that, it just is going to help future people, and it's just going to snowball to the point where people can come in and go, oh, I want to make an NFT project on Kadena, and they'll be able to go and find all of that step-by-step documentation. Now, it may take a year or two to get to that point, but it's great to see that everyone is very open to helping each other, and they're not like, oh no, you're my rival, you're my competition. Why would I want to help my competition? It's all more about building community tools and building something that helps everyone on Kadena, and it's great to see everyone kind of reach together for that.
Yeah, really, everybody's success is each of our individual success, and we all believe in the future that Kadena provides us, and so let's all do it together.
And another good thing about that system is that it automatically shows out the bad actors in the community. People, like I said, those will be the people who will be like, no, I don't want to work with you. You're my competition. We're so early that you can't look at each other as competition. There's so much room for so many different projects and everything to present themselves and be part of this ecosystem that, some of them might not work out at the end, but at least everyone's willing to help each other and try. And that's really, it just comes down to trial and error, building everything up and just having each other's backs and making sure that, doing little, if it comes down to even just little self-auditing back and forth between trusted projects that work with each other, to save, big companies having to pay for huge audits and all this kind of stuff. Little things like that can always help. Many hands make light work. So it's great to see people come together and help. And I'm glad to see that you guys have been able to, bring members of the community together and help other projects. Like you said, finding a vulnerability in what could be considered your competitor's project, and helping them fix that. So, like I said, there's probably a lot of people out there that wouldn't even consider doing that. So it's good to see that the community is very heavy-hearted, I guess you could say, about making sure that everyone succeeds.
Yeah, and I mean, big shout out to my developers who are all very morally strong on what they believe is proper development. They all believe in open source. They're kind of open source maximalists. So they drive that without even being asked. They think that what we're doing now is bigger than Kaddex, and I absolutely deeply agree with them. What we're doing is really about the future of this ecosystem, and it's bigger than what any one of us are doing.
Well said. If anyone else has any questions that they want to ask, like I said, feel free to send an invite. We got a few minutes left here to talk to things. Adam, I don't know if you have any other questions or comments that you want to add in as well. We can see what else while we see if anyone wants to step up and ask questions.
Yeah, I'll just comment on developers at Kaddex. Like you said, there's a lot of sticking to their beliefs on how to develop such a protocol, especially being the first on Kadena in a language that's not as battle tested as Solidity or Rust or anything like that. So I'm glad that they're sticking to their morals with, like you said, open source, and like I was talking about earlier with future-proof the protocol, so that people can kind of take up the mantle in the future, and it can practically last for a very long time, as long as Kadena exists. So.
Awesome. Well, it doesn't look like anyone really has any questions that they want to ask, but I'd like to thank everyone for showing up today. This has been an absolutely amazing talk. I know I learned a lot more about Kaddex that I didn't know before, and I'm very excited to see what comes out of the DEX and all the crazy features that you guys have been working on. I myself have been playing around with the mobile wallet. I think everything so far is great. So hopefully you guys can continue to build on that. So I want to thank Nicolas for coming by and sharing all this great information with us and being part of this amazing AMA, and for Adam for helping me co-host and with the awesome questions from him. So thank you, Nicolas. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks again for having me. I really love the chat. Thanks. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, and thank you, Chris, for inviting me to co-host.
Of course, anytime. So yeah, everyone, thank you very much for stopping by. This has been a great, another KPN AMA. So everyone just take care and make sure to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Discord, follow us on all the different social medias, and make sure to check out our website, KadenaEcosystem.com.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also, make sure to follow us on our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter. All the links can be found directly on our SoundCloud profile page. Thank you very much for listening, and take care.